The soldiers need to be really supported so as that the worry situation that we are can become a history.
President Muhammadu Buhari meets service chiefs on security situation in the country.
This administration has fulfilled its promise to give a new national minimum wage to the Nigerian workers.
Senate approves 30,000 naira minimum wage for workers at both federal and state levels.
The court has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from continuing with the collation and subsequent announcement of the results.
Federal High Court stops INEC from collating governorship results in Bauchi State. And on business news, correspondent focuses on private sector investment in the health sector. Hello, and thank you for joining us on the news at 9. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar in Abuja. Anchoring with me tonight are Hingino John Adams in Lagos and Comfort Ayim in Enugu. High-level talks on the nation's security situation has ended at the presidential villa. The meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari was attended by the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Mansur Ali, the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, service chiefs and heads of other security agencies. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that security also dominated discussions when President Buhari granted audience to the governor of Zamfara State, Abdul Aziz Yari.
Security is one of the cardinal objectives of the Buhari administration since coming to power in its determination to effectively manage the country for sustainable growth and development. All those that matter in the top echelon of Nigeria's security apparatus were in attendance at the crucial meeting that lasted about 3 hours behind closed doors. Details of their discussions were not made public, but NTA News gathered that the security chiefs were engaged by the president on their roles and responsibilities in maintaining internal security as well as protecting the nation's territorial integrity. Discussions also centered on the various security concerns in parts of the country and far-reaching measures taken towards ensuring lasting solutions. Efforts made by journalists to hear from participants at the meeting were unsuccessful. Shortly after the security meeting, Governor Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar of Zamfara State arrived at the State House to update President Muhammadu Buhari on the situation in his state.
The issue is not only state-by-state matter, it's kind of a regional problem. When Katsina make airport to kind of put pressure on the bandit, the next place is Zamfara. If Zamfara put pressure on them, the next is Kaduna or Niger State. So we have those issues. So indeed, there's a need of collaboration, and also the soldiers need to be really supported so as that the worry situation that we are can become a history.
What about dialogue?
Well, dialogue is a deceit. During the dry season, they will look for dialogue because they know new security can get access to anywhere and you have no place to hide. So they will look for dialogue. So that's why I said, well, I think we have to show force.
His Katsina State counterpart, Aminu Bello Masari, also came calling at the office of the Vice President, where similar issues of security and governance dominated discussions.
We made promises to the people of Katsina State. They voted us on the basis of those promises, and we are happy to say that we have done more than 70% of what we have promised the people of Katsina State. So this time around, again, when we went round, we promised them that we will continue with the agenda and security. Part of it is that I have seen some security chiefs, and before I leave Abuja, again, I will see the IGP and the DGSS to further discuss and develop on what we are doing with the military and the people that are on ground presently. It's not only about the deployment, but it's about strategy.
Governor Masari has been re-elected overwhelmingly for a second term in office by the people of Katsina, home state of President Muhammadu Buhari. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has ordered the suspension of the collation of the March 9th governorship election in Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State. Presiding Judge Justice Ian Eko ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to appear before it on Wednesday for hearing on the main suit filed by the All Progressives Congress, APC, and its candidate in the election, Governor Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, who is seeking re-election. Dele Atumbi reports.
In an ex parte motion on Monday, the All Progressives Congress and its candidate in Bauchi State, who is seeking re-election, Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, approached the court seeking an order to stop the collation of the results of the governorship election in Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State. Justice Ian Eko on Monday summoned INEC to appear before it on Tuesday to show cause why an ex parte application by the plaintiffs seeking to outrightly stop the collation of the results of the governorship election in Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State should not be granted. INEC, in response to Monday's summon, appeared in court through its counsel, Tamiyu Inua SAN. On Tuesday, the judge readjourned till Wednesday, noting that the commission only responded to main suit instead of showing cause to convince the court not to grant the plaintiff's prayer. Inua SAN also said the commission was challenging the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court to hear the case of the plaintiffs. But Justice Eko said that the court's jurisdiction should not be challenged orally, but through a written application. The presiding judge ordered the parties to maintain the rest, meaning parties should not take action that can affect the subject matter in the suit. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will still conduct supplementary elections in some polling units in Bauchi State. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Bauchi, Ibrahim Abdullahi, gave the indication while briefing journalists on the court order restraining the commission from recollation of governorship election results in Tafawa Balewa local government area. Muazu Hassan reports.
The rescheduled collation for the governorship election result in respect of Tafawa Balewa local government was suspended as a result of the court order received by the commission.
The court has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from continuing with the collation and subsequent announcement of the results of Tafawa Balewa local government as it affects the governorship race only. Also, what is going to continue is the scheduled 23rd March election that affects the council election across in other parts of the local government areas.
Resident Electoral Commissioner Ibrahim Abdullahi, however, said collation of results in respect of Tafawa Balewa local government House of Assembly election will continue at the commission headquarters in Bauchi. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, residents of Bauchi Metropolis have expressed optimism that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will not deprive them of their mandate. Bulak Afsa reports that the metropolis is peaceful, with residents going about their usual activities.
Following INEC's decision to hold a rerun in Bauchi State, residents have continued to air divergent views and hope that the process will be free, fair, and credible once more.
They thought the election they do like this, no good. Make you do results, make everybody hear the place you go stay.
Pray for peace and orderliness, that is all. We are just praying for peace to reign. That's the only thing. And we pray that let God select the best for us.
Different groups and coalitions have protested to register their affirmation or rejection of the process. Government, on the other hand, is not taking things for granted as it has deployed security to different parts of the metropolis. It is hoped that at the end of the entire process, people of Bauchi will not be robbed of their mandates. In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
Taraba State Government has lifted the curfew imposed on Jalingo, the state capital. This is contained in a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the State Governor, Hassan Majingawa. Governor Darius Ishaku, in the statement, directed all security agencies to intensify security surveillance and patrol, especially in the flashpoint areas of the state capital. He appreciated the people of the state for their understanding and cooperation with the security agencies while the curfew was in place. To the legislature now, the Senate has passed the National Minimum Wage Amendment Bill. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the legislators approved 30,000 naira as the new national minimum wage for Nigerian workers.
The National Minimum Wage Act.
2 months ago, the National Assembly received the National Minimum Wage Amendment Bill from the Executive. The House of Representatives passed the bill before it embarked on its election races and approved 30,000 as new minimum wage. The Senate has passed the bill and also approved 30,000 naira. Senator Francis Alimi Kena presented the report of the ad hoc committee on the national minimum wage, which was unanimously adopted.
The Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning should, as a matter of urgency, compute and forward to the National Assembly for inclusion in the 2019 budget the actual amount required for the new national minimum wage.
This administration has fulfilled its promise to do this, give a new national minimum wage to the Nigerian workers.
And it is not worth it if we make this constitutional amendment only for states not to be able to pay.
And we hope with this, our workers too will double their efforts, increase productivity, and as such, general productivity of the country also would improve. So I congratulate you all, and I hope that immediately this implementation will start.
The ad hoc committee also urged the federal government to put in place a new revenue sharing formula that will enhance the capacity of states to pay the new wage, as it also recommends 75,000 naira as fine for organizations that fail to keep the records of their employees. Financial matters continued on the floor as Senate rounded off debate on the general principles of the 2019 appropriation bill and referred it to the Senate Committee on Appropriation.
For us to have accelerated growth, we need more injection into capital expenditure.
I am proposing 500,000 houses in Nigeria, funded by the pension fund, guaranteed by the government.
And I'm happy that this budget tries to address it and try to support the growth of these small and medium-scale industries.
A motion by Senator Olubenga Ashafa commends the federal government for its swift action in checking the operations of Boeing 737 MAX 8 series in Nigeria, as he also called for a minute silence in honor of the 2 Nigerians who lost their lives in the recent Ethiopian Airlines crash.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to ensure that all the aircrafts operating within Nigeria are airworthy.
Mr. President's request for the confirmation of the nominees as chairman and commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission has been referred to the Senate Committee on National Planning to report back in 2 weeks. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nko, NTN News.
A bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Law Reform Commission to pave way for the reenactment of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission was passed at second reading by the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Laimi Ali has details on these and other proceedings at the Tuesday's plenary.
The Nigerian Law Reform Commission bill being repealed and reenacted was forwarded from the Senate for concurrence. It seeks to facilitate effective implementation of proposed law reforms for enhanced performance.
Mr. Speaker, this bill, if passed, will address delays in implementation of the Commission's report, challenges of inadequate funding, improve the administrative capacity, and enhance collaborations with other ministries, departments, and agencies.
The bill was referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. House Committee on Basic Education and Services also presented reports on 4 bills, one of which is a bill that seeks to make agricultural science a core and compulsory subject in secondary schools. While on matters of urgent public importance, Minority Whip Yakubu Barude's motion calling on authorities to stem the tide of killings in Kajuru in Kaduna State was adopted, as well as Representative Kolade Akinjo's motion on payments and training of beneficiaries under the Presidential Amnesty Program.
Some of the beneficiaries deployed for the 2017/2018 academic section have been paid, while others are unjustifiably denied payment for their monthly stipends and allowances, running into about 12 months concurrently.
The House has suspended plenary to April 2nd, 2019 to fast-track budget defense at committee levels. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NT News.
A new policy brief on efficient implementation of Freedom of Information Act to enhance openness in governance has been unveiled in Abuja. Director General of the Bureau for Public Service Reforms, Ibrahim Arabi, at the event emphasized the need to imbibe the cultural shift of open government as an antidote to fight corruption in Nigeria. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed reports.
Since the passage of the Freedom of Information Bill into law 9 years ago, research from a study in 2018 so far shows that only 8.9% of MDAs in more than 900 public institutions have complied with the Section 29 of the Act to release information on demand. That prompted the Bureau for Public Service Reforms to conduct a survey and came out with this policing trust to checkmate the abuse of civil service rules by some civil servants who hide under the guise of national security to deny access to information requested by individuals and organizations.
The Office of Head of Civil Service of the Federation is working around reviewing the public service rules, which is going to uncover those provisions, and that will give you chance and privilege to ask questions, and it will give us additional cover to openly respond to all questions.
The policy brief is being circulated to all ministries, departments and agencies to serve as a guide for the enforcement of the FOI Act, which will in turn ensure transparency and accountability in the running of government at all levels. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NT News.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari and the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on their victory in the presidential elections. In a statement by its president, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, the Bishops' Conference appreciated President Buhari's acceptance speech, which recognized the need for an inclusive government. The statement notes the present administration's passion for good governance and urges all Nigerians to join hands with winners in order to move the country forward. In another congratulatory message, the President of the Republic of Korea, Moon Jae-in, has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on his re-election. President Jae-in hoped that under Buhari's leadership, Nigeria will continue to achieve political stability and economic prosperity. He noted that with the diplomatic relationship between the two countries established since 1980, they maintain friendship and cooperation in various areas, expressing interest to closely cooperate with the Nigerian leader to develop the relationship to a more mutually beneficial and future-oriented one. This is the news on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Stay tuned for more updates after the break. The Federal Road Safety Corps is seeking urgent implementation of the 5 United Nations Conventions on road traffic acceded to by President Muhammadu Buhari towards reducing road crashes in the country. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi made the advocacy at the 2-day workshop on the activation of the conventions. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
The Convention on Road Traffic was established to increase road safety by creating standard traffic rules among the contracting parties, with Nigeria being the 78th country in the world to accede to 5 out of the 6 UN conventions on road traffic. As well as the 3rd best performing country in Africa, the efforts are paying off.
2018 World Health Organization Global Status Report on road safety shows that Nigeria continued to register notable decline in road traffic fatalities since 2018,
Nigeria is comfortably on course towards achieving the Decade of Action mandate to reduce the projected national road crash fatality by 50% when we get to.
So it is clear that speed violation remains the most prevalent crash causative factor of accidents in the country.
We need to do more, because if you compare to when we got to Geneva to look at the death rate, Africa was doing very badly.
Conventions, everything is just on road safety management. There are 6 and this was done within 1 year. It's a landmark in any country.
It was said that all states yet to establish state road management agencies should do so in compliance with the international best practices, ensure safety of lives on the roads. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Programs that will translate Africa's potential for growth in aviation development are underway as the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, organizes a 3-day workshop expected to come up with regional and national policies to address infrastructural gap in the continent. Emmanuel Ayimiro has details.
About 4.5 billion passengers were globally transported on about 38 million flights in 2018. The figures are expected to double in the nearest future, with Africa having the highest potential for growth out of all international civil aviation organization global regions. Yet, this potential is not being augmented with infrastructure in technology, commitment to new or modern airports, and air navigation facilities.
And traffic, specifically in the African region, are expected to grow respectively by 4.3 and 3.8% annually through 2035.
Therefore, there is need for significant airports and air navigation expansion.
Of the 2019 AFI-Plan Work Program, this workshop is to provide basis for the formulation of aviation infrastructure program and master plan for Africa at state and regional levels.
Delegates from 54 African states, the African Union Commission, African Civil Aviation Commission, financial institutions, and ICAO's council members are attending the workshop. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force is joining its counterparts across the world to defend its bases across the country. To this end, the Maiden Base Defense Seminar was held in Abuja to perfect the concept as a national security strategy. Najatu Tijani has details.
Improving the Nigerian Air Force-based defense systems for greater efficiency in the deployment of air assets for effective security is one of the key issues being discussed here at the first ever edition of the Nigerian Air Force-based defense seminar.
This area of operations in the Nigerian Air Force, largely manned by the regiment specialty, has undergone several upgrades over the years. The Nigerian Air Force says these ongoing advancements will help neutralize any future threats to national security.
In base defense were overlooked and underestimated. The current organization has seen the regiment operate a defensive arm through its force protection elements and an offensive arm through the Special Operations Force.
This is significant as the deployment of air assets takes place from these bases. Hence, the training of about 4,000 personnel drawn from various arms of the Nigerian Air Force with the assistance of the British Military Advisory Training Team. Nigerian air assets are currently deployed in the northeast, north central and northwest to combat insurgency, and this 2-day seminar will apply innovative measures to drive the regiment's specialty pertinent to base defense and the country as a whole. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy is working to consolidate on the security of the country's maritime environment and enhance capacity of local content. Director Naval Information Suleiman Dahun, at a courtesy visit to the NTA, said the Navy is addressing piracy along the Gulf of Guinea. Kolo Mohammed reports.
Nigeria's maritime environment and the Gulf of Guinea in general was bedeviled by activities of pirates and oil thieves, until the Nigerian Navy came up with strategies to check their activities. The Navy embarked on 13 major operations, with Tereteku being key to making the country's maritime environment safe and conducive for legitimate business.
From all indications, and you could verify from our strategic partners like the oil producing trade section, the Shippers Council, and other maritime operations, that operation has been able to stem the tide of piracy in our waters.
NTA's Executive Director News, Mohammed Labbo, acknowledged the efforts of the Navy in securing Nigeria's coastal economy from the activities of pirates and other maritime criminals.
In the last few years, the Navy has upped its game and has restored sanity and security in not only the Nigerian coastal areas, but the Gulf of Guinea.
The NTA's management expressed readiness to partner with the Navy to promote naval brilliance in the effort to make Nigeria's waters safe. In Abuja, Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Dr. Kantibaru, says the Kolmani River 2 well in Bauchi State, which was flagged off by President Muhammad Buhari last month, is recording success with the drilling of 6,700 feet so far. Dr. Kantibaru disclosed these while receiving an award from the Petroleum Technology Association, PETAN, for his landmark achievement in the development of inland basins in the country, especially the drilling of the Kolmani River 2 well and his efforts in deep well operations.
Services and engineers and engineering expertise, except where you are capable, you are able to deliver, and will continue to use it.
Dr. Baru, who also reaffirmed the federal government's plan to extend the West African pipeline to Morocco, commended PETAN for its contributions towards the growth of the Nigerian petroleum industry. Memorial service held for victims of the collapsed building in Lagos. Hingino John Adams has details of these and more from Lagos. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Kudu, and welcome to Lagos. The need to sustain the operational efficiency of the Nigerian Navy remains key in securing the waterways and tackling illegalities in the Gulf of Guinea. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Eteibas, stated this at the Obangame Express 2019 Senior Leadership Symposium in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
Establishing maritime legal frameworks and maritime governance, naval forces, and interagency integration are among issues lined up at the symposium. Attended by naval senior officers, the forum is geared towards finding solutions to the common maritime security challenges. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ekwe-Ibas, who was represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, stressed that the trainings and exercise Obangame Express is expected to foster cordial relationship among regional navies in the task of restoring order and governance in the Gulf of Guinea.
The Gulf of Guinea is a body of water, and the crimes that goes on there, they are transnational. They migrate from one country to the other. Of course, at sea, there are no rigid boundaries saying that this is the water that belongs to Nigeria, this is the water that belongs to Benin Republic, for instance. And again, also, there's a significant aspect that where piracy has been a problem of navies worldwide. In fact, that's one of the reasons why the Navy was set up in the first instance. So we're going to keep at it, and we're going to make it very uncomfortable for the bad boys until they are run out of business.
The ongoing exercise Obangame Express, which is adjudged the largest maritime exercise in the world, seeks to display the gains of African integrated maritime strategy. The interactive session had in attendance senior naval officers from West Africa and beyond. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
An interfaith memorial service has held in honor of those who lost their lives in the Itafaji building collapse in Lagos. Paul Omokago reports that the service was organized by a team of Christian and Islamic leaders.
And your color, Aliyah, 9 years, female.
It was a solemn interfaith assembly. Religious leaders who prayed for the repose of the souls of the departed urged the federal and Lagos state governments, as well as public-spirited Nigerians, to assist the victims' families.
It is time that Nigerians begin to take a full responsibility for their community. And we just think, as a people, that we should take complete responsibility for this.
Assist the families where necessary, either to assist them towards their child education or to provide the shelter.
Sad because there were so many losses, and over 70% of the people who died were children.
All houses without compromise that fail integrity tests will be pulled down.
Olaiya Oduola and his wife Funke survived the tragedy. They say there were 9 families residing in the building before it collapsed.
My family was the only family that was able to narrowly escape the building 30 minutes before.
NTA observed that the scene of the sad incident has been leveled, with the Lagos state government taking possession of the land. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
This is still NTA Network News. More reports with Kudu after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
Thank you for remaining with us on the NTA Network service. Joining me now for all the latest in the world of business is Amina Nujain. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mohammed. Nigeria's 2018 budget of 9.1 trillion naira had 5% of it allocated to the health sector. However, experts say this will not be enough for the needed health care of over 200 million citizens. It's expedient that public funds be properly and efficiently utilized with compliments from the private sector. The Ministry of Budget and National Planning, through the Budget Office of the Federation, is championing an alliance of players in the health and financial sectors to explore and share strategies on how to maximize value for money in public health.
Even though the national health, notwithstanding the very tight revenue constraints, and notwithstanding the demands of other competing sectors, there has been increased federal allocations to health. However, and this is important, there is a need to ensure that these increased expenditures are actually improving healthcare outcomes. We must be able to show that we are getting value for the public funds allocated for expenditure.
Value for money in the health sector is about maximizing the impact of each naira spent to improve people's lives. It's also about prioritizing our interventions in the health sector and deriving maximum benefits from the scarce resources.
They say increasing number of investors are choosing to allocate their money in the healthcare sector in Nigeria. But for that to happen, all tiers of government must create and allocate new sources of health financing. Now a look at the equities market. Investors lost 16.06 billion naira as sell pressures persist. The Nigerian equities market closed Tuesday, the 19th of March 2019 on a negative note as the OSHA index appreciated by 0.14% to close at 31,430.50 basis point. Year-to-date currently stands at minus 1.11%. 286 million shares exchanged hands on the floor of the exchange. This was valued at 3.094 billion naira in 3,924 deals. And away from the equities market to gender matters. The contribution of women to the financial sector and the stable economy must be safeguarded with continued expansion of programs for gender parity. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, stated this at the bank's activity for the 2019 International Women's Day in Abuja. He noted that although gender equality is the driver for economic growth and a prerequisite for attaining the 2030 Global Development Agenda, progress in gender parity has been slow. To address this challenge, the central bank, in synergy with key actors, developed various responsive interventions that prioritize investment in women, thereby improving access to diverse sources of financing for women-owned businesses.
If women's economic participation were at the same level as men, $28 trillion could be added to the world's economic growth by 2025. Narrowing the gender gap will foster greater stability in the banking system and enhance economic growth. It could also contribute to more effective monetary and fiscal policy.
Well, we're working together with the monetary authorities to make sure that financial inclusion of women is enhanced. It is a fact that women are left behind when it comes to accessing finance for enhancing their businesses. There are special schemes that the federal government have started, the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program as well as the Trader Money. The largest beneficiaries of those are women and girls.
And that's about it from the business desk. Mohammed, back to you.
Thank you for that latest. As the World Water Day approaches, Procter & Gamble, PG, says it is embarking on a new goal to provide 25 billion litres of clean water to rural communities in the world by 2025. At an awareness program in collaboration with the Global Citizen in Abuja, P&G says this is in addition to its efforts so far in water sanitation and hygiene wash sector. Musbah Danwahab has details.
$100 million to help eradicate. This is an example of a partnership that works. However, the celebration here is not about the collaboration between Procter & Gamble, P&G and Global Citizen, but the result of the P&G Children's Safe Drinking Water Initiative, which is touching lives across rural communities in the world.
P&G is celebrating an advancement in donating its 15 billion litres of clean drinking water around the world. And in Nigeria, we have donated over 240 million litres.
In the quest to achieving the initiative, P&G has also developed water purifier, a technology that can transform dirty water like this to a safe one in less than 30 minutes.
We will provide 30 million litres of clean water targeted to high water need communities in northeast Nigeria.
With the available statistics around Nigeria's water and sanitation, discussants on this panel say a lot more still needs to be done ahead of the 2030 SDGs targets. With various policies and programs in place, backed up with the WASH Action Plan launched by President Buhari last year, Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu says Nigeria is now on the right path towards achieving good water and sanitation for all. And he believes that partnership with the private sector will also expedite the desired results.
The collaboration is coming very handy, it's coming at the right time when we're trying to scale up our processes. So it's very welcome.
Representatives of Cross River, Edo, and Ondo states highlighted efforts on water and sanitation in their respective states. And participants here say every stakeholder must own the drive to achieve this year's World Water Day theme, which is leaving no one behind. In Abuja, Musbah Danwahab, NT News.
The role of the media in the sustenance of diplomatic relations among countries of the world has been identified as necessary for social, economic and cultural growth of developing nations. High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Nigeria, Mohammed Shamim Ahsan, noted this at a courtesy visit to the Director General of the NTA, Nigeria Television Authority, Daniel Aderiyi, has the report.
The High Commissioner in his remarks appreciated the government of Nigeria while soliciting support from the Nigerian Television Authority and the promotion of the activities aimed at strengthening bilateral ties between the two countries.
I would be happy to contribute in every possible way to see that the people, there are more interactions between the people of Nigeria and people of Bangladesh, and we'll be happy to have close interaction with your media house for any kind of activity that may eventually contribute to greater understanding between peoples of Bangladesh and Nigeria.
Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Mohammed restated the NTA's commitment at all times to fostering better relations between Nigeria and her ally nations.
The task of internal relationships between Nigeria and other countries is that of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
and NTA works hand in hand with the Minister of Foreign Affairs to ensure that any association that is created, is built upon, solidified, and concretized.
Both parties are sure of mutual cooperation that will culminate in the development of both nations' economy and democracy. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
And now Comfort Ayim has more updates from our Enugu zone.
Thanks, Kudu, for joining us in Enugu Network Center. The University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Itukwozala in Enugu, has taken delivery of a world-class ceiling-mounted operating microscopes for deep-seated tumors, courtesy of a team of professional neurosurgeons from Sweden on a collaborative mission with the UNTH. Chege Onu report.
Lack of ultra-modern health facilities and world-class equipment have given rise to medical tourism in Nigeria over the years. It is on this standpoint that foreign collaborators in life-saving pursuit have been visiting the UNTH and offering training services, medical equipment, and free surgeries to patients. Before now, the UNTH is the flagship of cardiothoracic surgery, but now the need has arisen for the teaching hospital to delve into neurosurgery.
You need this machine to be able to reach the locations of these tumors. Like I said, very deep-seated ones, the ones in the brainstem. The brainstem is an extremely vital part of the brain.
The team of journalists saw firsthand an ongoing neurosurgery.
We're trying to supply the training that is needed. And there are certain fields that we could go on with, actually.
Many patients have related stories of having had to travel to places like India to get treatment at very high price.
Health experts say that as the UNTH embarks on groundbreaking mortality areas, medical tourism is expected to be minimal. In Enugu, Chiegonu Aro, NTA News.
Ebonyi State government is to partner the People's Republic of China towards industrializing the state as a major economic hub in the country. Governor David Umahi stated this while receiving the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria in Abakaliki. Kinsley Okoro reports.
Governor Umahi, represented by the Deputy Governor, described the visit as one of the milestones recorded by the present government toward diversifying the state economy. He emphasized the need for more partnership in the area of commercial rice production, which the state had corporate advantage over other states.
The state government has had a trade relationship with about 14 companies in China. We are interested in having more investments from China.
The China ambassador to Nigeria said Ebonyi State has available economic potentials which his country intends to tap into.
Made in Nigeria project is very dear to you. You wish to create more jobs for the youth and for the people, and you wish to accelerate your pace of the industrialization. And I can assure you, China is one of your most reliable partners.
The ambassador was later treated with a colorful gala night where the rich cultural heritage of Ebonyi State was highlighted. In Abakaliki, Kinsley Okoro, NTA News.
And that's how far we can go from this end. Is back to Kudu in Abuja for more on Network News.
Thank you, Comfort. We now have more stories after this time out. Thank you for remaining with the NTA News. President Muhammadu Buhari sends condolences to families and those who lost loved ones, homes and means of livelihood in Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi as tropical cyclone Idai takes a toll on the southern Africa. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, indicates that President Buhari deeply shares in the pain and struggle of the governments and people in southern Africa who have been working hard to ensure safety of citizens and minimize the devastating effect of the cyclone. President Buhari assures the governments and people of Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi of the prayers and support of Nigeria as they pass through the trying period. He commended humanitarian organizations for their interventions. In sports, Nigeria Olympic Committee resolves to collaborate effectively with other stakeholders, and the under-19 cricket team beats Kenya at the ongoing ICC World Cup African qualifying matches. Ayodeji Makinde has more on Sport Update. It appears the heat runs across most of Nigerian cities. That weather forecast ends tonight's package of NTA Network News. Thank you for joining us and watching. I'm Muhammad Kuda Bakar. Good night.